Work as we know it is broken, and I think we all feel it. Even if it did not have a direct impact on you, I bet you all know at least one or two people who are suffering in the workplace, and you know they don't deserve it. So, what we created over the years, especially in the last 150 years, is unfortunately causing a lot of burnout, lots of health issues. Number one reason for getting ill and sick is stress, and number one factor for being and feeling stress is work. And we have not really thought about this definition of success for a long time. So, what it was always having a great job, working for long hours, being professional at work, not bringing emotions to work, separating life and work. And unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore. It did work for a while, though. It created a lot of innovations in our world. And for a few generations, they at least felt safe at work. They were able to even put money aside for their retirement and live with freedom and with security and safety. Well, unfortunately, that's all gone too for many of us. So, what are the statistics showing us? For example, one is that 88% of people who are working today feel like they are not cared as a human being. Just think about that for a second. 88% don't feel like a human being at work or that somebody cares about them as a human being. They either feel like a number or they feel like a machine. That's so sad. 66% feel like they're burned out, 47 feel like they are lonely at work, again for this not caring part, I'm sure. And then because we don't trust our people, it causes a lot of bureaucracy to happen, and that has a huge cost. The 3 billion per year in United States only. That's crazy. And of course the biggest cost is human lives going to waste. When you have so much bureaucracy, people do not spend their time doing things that matter to them or to anybody. So, what do we need to do with this distrust and disloyalty? First of all, a little bit backwards again. What happened after the industrial and factory age, and when we accepted to exchange our time and our expertise for money, like we said, it did work for a while. But since the 1980s and 90s, you all remember these words probably, especially the ones around my age. It was downsizing, it was restructuring, right sizing, and then massive layoffs became a thing, which wasn't something of the past. And then 80% of people who got laid off, like always, had a health issue in the year following that. Those who did not lose a job were told to be grateful because they had a job. Well, none of that is really working anymore. That's why we created a system. Now we have to recreate a new one because the majority of people are feeling bad. Hence, the big resignation. What did the big resignation come from? Where did it come from? Because during the pandemic, all of a sudden we saw that we can align our what matters to us with work. Life and work does not need to be separate. We are one human being, and we can take care of our children at home and work, which is sometimes have been very difficult too. But for most of the jobs it was possible. And then we saw that if we know we have different rhythms, even if we were forced to work in certain hours of the day, like 8 to 5, we know that we're not always productive in those 8 hours. And we saw that as long as we delivered the results and we kept ourselves responsible and accountable, we were able to do our jobs. That's why now there's this chaos, hybrid work, remote work, and some leaders are unfortunately trying to bring people back at every cost. And that's why a lot of people, record number of people, resigned. And they have many different reasons, but it was the first time we saw these numbers, and it did happen because of some reflection done. Two-thirds of the people were reflecting on what life matters, what matters in their life, and what is their purpose in life. So, why do I care so much? Because I've been there. I worked for a company that was great, one of the Fortune 50 companies at the time. They offered me great money, but that wasn't enough. As Daniel Pink says, we have more intrinsic motivators that we know right now, thanks to science, that keeps us fulfilled and more purposeful, which is autonomy. We want to make our decisions. We make so many decisions all day long. Why can't we do it at work? Especially if we're hired to do that, if we're found to be a good match for the job. Second is that we want to find purpose and meaning at work. And those people are so much more productive. And in one Bain and Company study, for example, if you think of a satisfied employee is 100% productive, somebody who's inspired by the work of a company and work with a purpose is 225% more productive. And the third one, the intrinsic value that we care about, is mastery. We want to get better with our skills and talent. So if we use our gifts, if we find meaning at what we do a much better job. And I don't think it's a big brain, like a brainer, right? If you love your job, if you're enthusiastic about what you do, if you feel like you're contributing more than just getting a paycheck, of course you're going to do a better job. That's no surprise, and it's not new. But it's these times that we think it's important and we talk more, which is great. So if you're one of those people who quit their jobs, or maybe even forced to leave your job, or laid off during this pandemic, there's things that you can do. We all have an individual responsibility to figure out what is the best option for us, thinking about what is our passion, our purpose, what aligns with who we are, with our gifts. So I would love for you to join me, and I will include the links down here. And it will be either an event, or you can follow me, because I write and think about these things all the time, because I had to go through these same steps. And if I had a mentor that made that process much easier for me, it would have taken much less time to get there. This is my life's work. This is my passion and purpose. That's why I care so much. Come and join me for the options that you have and the questions that you can ask yourself to see what is best for you. And you will have the links to follow me, to my book that is about this topic too. And let's do this together. Because if we do this, and if you accept my invitation, we can create a world where people's abilities, capabilities, passion, and purpose is unleashed. We create a better world for our children. We go home happier, and they get to see work can be joyful. And we might leave a much better planet to our world, to our children, to the generations after us, so that they can feel safe. So join me. Thank you.